Good morning. Good morning, everyone. We'll get started in a minute or two once I make sure that this is actually working. This is my first time doing this, so we're all in this together. So we'll get started in just a sec. Good morning. I'm Morgan, if I haven't met you yet. I'm one of the program coordinators here at the Cancer Support Community. And when I'm not this large, I'm usually also teaching some Pilates and dance classes. So today I'm going to do a chair Pilates and stretch class. I will do my best to describe anything that I can't physically do, but you know, we're all in this together. We're gonna figure this one out. New for me too. So just a couple of things, I guess, to let you know. I will probably be switching from sitting facing the front to facing the side sometimes, just so that you can get a good idea of what I'm asking for, see things from different angles. So no need to flip-flop with me, just to give you a heads up that I'll be doing that as well. And if no one's done, or if you haven't done Pilates before, for anyone who hasn't done Pilates before, this is certainly modified. It's chair Pilates so that it's really accessible to a lot more people. And Pilates really works on being very slow and controlled. And it's kind of, put the music down, sorry, I can't hear myself. It's really what you make of it. So most of these movements can be done with very little effort, but if you put effort into them or you kind of engage your muscles while you do them, then you're going to get a good workout, I promise. Also, I'm going to be mindful to incorporate breath and stretching. I think we're all probably a little stressed. We all need a little bit of muscle release and relief right now. Pilates also concentrates on the core, which is hard for me to show at the moment, but your core includes your abdominals and your hips and your glutes. Kind of all of this is actually your core, and your core stays engaged throughout everything in Pilates to kind of support you. It's your base of support. It's what helps keep you erect and keep you mobile, but don't ever hold anything so tight you can't breathe. So make sure that you're checking in with your own breath. And with those few notes, I guess we'll get started. I'm gonna check and make sure I'm not getting any text messages that things aren't working. Okay. So that said, we're gonna start just by sitting with alignment. So I'm already gonna shift my chair over. It is, like I said, harder for me to show what alignment actually means right now, but try to imagine as best you can. So the idea that we want to sit kind of forward off of our tailbone, elongated backs, shoulders down and relaxed. Imagining almost that you had a string that lifted up from the crown of your head to kind of help lift you and help you sit tall. It's really easy in a lot of Pilates work to start to roll back onto your tailbone and kind of sink in. So be mindful of that, especially if you have a chair that is tilted a little bit. They kind of encourage that. So you're going to make sure that you're really sitting forward on your thighs. Your feet firmly on the floor. And we're going to start just by taking 3 deep breaths while sitting in good alignment. So here we go. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Sitting tall, deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine that you're engaging your core. Your belly button is going to scoop kind of in and up towards your spine, engaging those lower abdominals. Another deep inhale. And every exhale, use it as an opportunity to check in and make sure that you're engaging deeply in your core. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Hi. Checking in. All of these things are popping up. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to do that this way, is something called a half roll down. All it is using that idea of engaging your deep abdominals and hollowing out through the middle. You know what? I'm going to turn this way. So as you take a deep breath in, as you exhale, you're going to contract deeply, and you're going to let that curve your lower back. So you are going to kind of intentionally roll back towards your tailbone. The difference is it's not a sinking, but rather an intentional contraction, and the pelvis gets to tilt a little bit. If you had a round ball in the front of you like I do, it's really like you're curving around that round ball. You're scooping out to the middle and returning back to sitting tall. So inhaling up, exhaling, curving back. Inhale to sit up. Exhale back. That's 2. We're going to go for 10. 3. And up. 4. Inhale. Lift up. Keep scooping and deepening that engagement in your abdominals. And up. 6. And up. Up the spine. 7. Keeping your shoulders down. 8. And up. 9. Exhale, curve. Up. 10. And up. Continuing just with the idea of a warm up, we're going to do head and shoulder circles. So dropping your chin to your chest, taking a circle around to one side, chin up towards the ceiling, circling all the way around. Take another circle. Keep breathing. The next time your chin reaches your chest, switch directions, circle your head the opposite way. And the next time your chin reaches your chest, you can bring your head back to neutral. Some shoulder circles, so we're just going to bring them up and back for a few. 3, 2, 1, and switch, reverse forward. 4, 3, 2, 1. To keep things going, we're going to go right back into that half roll down. So if you want to use your hands on your knees or under your thighs to support you, you can. Take a deep breath in. Exhaling, curving, rounding back. Inhale to sit up tall. Exhale, curve and round back. Engage those abdominals and sitting up. 3 and up. We're going to do most things in sets of 10. It'll help you count. And up. 5 and up. 6 and up. 7. 8. Up. Remembering to start with that exhale and contraction. 9. Up. 10. And up. All right, we're going to move into some arm work. So your arms might get a little tired. If you ever need to take a break, you take a break, you stop, you recover, you come back. But I'm going to keep going on through as much as I can. Who knows, I might need to take a break too. So the next several exercises are really going to focus on our arms, our upper back, our shoulders, and our chest. The first thing we're going to do is simple arm raises and lowers. This is one of those exercises where I could do it with minimal effort, and I could probably do a lot of them. Or I could really think about lengthening through my arms and imagining that there's some resistance, as if I'm moving through honey, or that I have elastic bands connected to my arms, and lift them up and back. Being mindful to keep yourself in alignment, so you don't want your ribs to start to pop out and your lower back to go, but keeping everything straight up and down and lower. And that's it. We're just going to do 10 of those. And keeping those abdominals engaged. Constantly thinking about scooping the belly button in and up, or lengthening the abdominals along the spine. Already lost count. I'm going to say this is 5. 6. Check in, make sure you're breathing. And 8. 9. And 10. The next thing we're going to do are arm or leans to kind of help stretch out our obliques. So we're going to bring our arms in and up. They're going to stay here. You're going to imagine that you have anchored your hip to your chair, so it doesn't move. This is simply a lean through the ribs, as if you were going to lay on the side of a ball to the side and back up. If you start to feel your hip pull up and off the chair, don't go that far. Keep it anchored down. This is just about stretching through the ribs and the obliques. So we're going to lean over to the side. Exhale, and inhale up. Inside, and up. Over, and up. This is 4, and up. 5, and up. Keeping that belly button pulled in, your abdominals scooped in and up, and up, up, 8, and up, 9, up, 10, and up. Arms down, loosen them out. The next thing we're going to do is put our arms at right angles. So you're going to bring your arms up again, pull them down until your elbows are at right angles. And you're going to bring your elbows and your forearms together. Thanks, Carly. Bring your elbows and forearms together to meet. So you're trying to get the whole surface of the arm from elbow to fingertip to meet, and open it back up. Really fighting to keep at these right angles and not to start to let your arms sink. That said, if you need to put your arms and take a break, put your arms down and take a break, you can. Bring them together. 1, and open. 2, and open. Even as we're doing this, imagining that you're scooping your belly button in and up, that you're gently keeping your core engaged, that you're thinking about lifting your abdominals away from your thighs, but not in such a way that you're not breathing. I think this is 6, 7, 8. Exhale, 9. Inhale. Exhale, 10, and open. Arms down, shake it out. Last arm exercise, and then we'll move on. We are going to bring our arms up again towards the ceiling. You're going to turn your palms to face the front, your same way that you are facing. And you're going to pull your arms down along these right angles. Your elbows can go below right angles, and then they're going to come back up. From the side, what you'll see is that it's almost as if I were painting a wall with the backs of my arms. You want to bring them straight down and bring them straight back up. So there's probably some tension in trying to keep them open. That's part of the work. So we're going to exhale, pull down, inhale, and up. Exhale, pull down. Imagining that there's resistance there, Keeping the muscles of your arms engaged. 3, and up. 4, and up. 5, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. 7, 8, 9, and 10. And bring them down, shake them out. We're gonna let the arms rest for a minute. We'll do one quick stretch to give them a little break. So all you're going to do is circle your shoulders back, follow with a circle of the elbows back, and follow a circle of the arms back. This is really meant to stretch and loosen, so it doesn't have to be as engaged. Then you're going to circle the arms forward, elbows, and shoulders. So we'll repeat that pattern. Shoulders back, elbows back, arms back. Then reverse it. Arms come forward, elbows come forward, shoulders come forward. One last time each direction. Shoulders, elbows, arms, and arms, elbows, shoulders. Take another deep breath in. Check with how you're sitting. Make sure you still feel yourself sitting tall, that there's still that gentle support in everything you do, from your abdominals, a gentle lift, a little scoop in and up from the belly button. An image that I really like is the idea of, when you have an umbrella and you kind of have to squeeze the button and lift it up along the rod, the pole. Imagining that your abdominals are doing that along your spine. So they kind of squeeze in and slide up along your spine to help keep you supported. So that's sitting, but still leaving room to take a deep breath. We're going to move on to legs, but I'm again going to check messages to make sure that everything's going well. All right, some people are losing the video. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can see it later. And for those of you that are still here, yay! Hopefully you're sticking with me. So we're going to move on to legs and lower core for a little bit. And then we'll do some modified work and maybe a little bit of standing with the chair for support. So the next thing we're going to do are thigh lifts. And it is exactly what it sounds like. You are simply lifting your thigh. However, what makes it complicated, the idea of the thigh lift, is the way that you engage to lift your thigh. So most of us could do it without thinking and just lift our leg. But chances are we're using a lot of our hip muscles and gripping to do that. These have to engage. Your hip flexors have to engage. But you're going to imagine that you're doing it by engaging your core and scooping it in and up again. And that scoop is enough to kind of lift your thigh up with it and lower it back down. But that's all it is. It's a thigh lift. I'm going to turn to the side again. Taking a moment to make sure you're sitting in alignment. You may find that you need to sit a little more forward in your chair, depending on how your chair is shaped. You're going to take a deep breath in. As you exhale, imagining that those abdominals are scooping in and up and they create enough space that your thigh lifts up and drops. And that's it. And we're going to do 10 of those each leg, so 20 total. This is a set of 2, 3, 4. You should already feel kind of as if you're doing a crunch in your lower abdomen. 6. Inhale in. 7. Exhaling out as you lift. 8. 9. Just getting those hips nice and warmed up. 10. And down. And the next thing we're going to do is a leg extension with a hip rotation. Turn back this way again. So you're going to start with that thigh lift. Deep exhale, contracting the abdominals, lifting the leg up. Then you're going to extend the foot out And from here, you're going to try your best to stabilize your pelvis. So already you can see that I have a tendency to roll back because I'm trying to make room, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to lean back to accommodate your leg. It's okay if your leg doesn't go out parallel to the floor. It can be lower if it needs to give you space to sit up rather than leaning back to be able to get your leg higher, which is what I'm doing. So you're going to really try to stabilize your pelvis in the chair. Both hip bones stay even and equal. Thigh lift, extending the leg from here, trying to keep this knee still and in place, which really requires you to engage your hips and your pelvis. This leg is going to rotate out from the hip, out and in. Out, in, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and bring it in and back down. Next leg, in and extend, making sure you're sitting tall, holding with your abdominals, and we're rotating from the thigh, so nothing in the rest of my leg is moving. My ankle is not shifting, I'm not wiggling my foot, it's really from my hip. Rotating out in the socket and in. So my leg is one unit and it comes back. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bringing it in and down. Now we're going to do leg circles. So the same idea, you're going to bring it in and extend, stabilizing so that this knee, this supporting knee, doesn't wobble all over the place, but it's engaged and anchored to the ground. You're going to do 10 little circles in one direction. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and reverse. Pay attention to this knee. It's going to give you a good idea if you're anchored very well. The more movement you have in your hips and your pelvis, the less you're probably actually engaged. It's tricky. It is not as easy as it looks. And put it in. Other leg. And out. 10 circles one direction. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No wobbling. 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and down. Hopefully everyone's doing all right. Walk one leg out. You can kind of lean forward into it if you need to give it a little stretch. I apologize, you can't really see my feet, but what I'm doing is setting one heel out on the floor, leaning forward, and bringing it back in. Giving our hips and our legs a break for a second. Taking a deep breath in, reaching up, and exhaling down. We're going to bring our arms to the front, and we're going to simply open one arm back towards the wall behind us, looking over the same shoulder to give a nice little twist. Again, anchoring the hips where they are, so not letting your thighs and your pelvis twist with you, but really just a twist through the torso. And bringing it in. Exhaling as you twist. Inhale towards the front. Exhale, twist. Inhale to the front. Exhale, twist. Inhale to the front. One more each side. Exhale, twist. Inhale to the front. Exhale, twist. Inhale to the front. Take a deep breath. Relax for a second. Let go of your posture for a second, just to kind of not gain tension. When I first started doing Pilates, it really annoyed me because I felt like I would get more tense during the workout until I realized that I was kind of holding things that didn't need to be held tightly and not breathing very well. So it's equally important to take a deep breath and disengage for a second to remind yourself that you can relax. And then we'll come back and keep focusing on the fact that it is just our core and our abdominals that are trying to stay engaged, and that the rest of us gets to actually kind of relax and float around that foundation. Hopefully you're finding me, hopefully. We're going to do a few exercises that have some modifications to them. So there's kind of the harder version or the more challenging version, and then the more stable or easier version, depending on your needs. So I'll try to talk through the few modifications before we really get going with each exercise. So the first one is really just another spinal stretch to help engage the back and the abdominals. You can do this one either by keeping both feet flat on the floor and right angles out from you, or you can extend one leg at a time, heel on the ground, leg straight, and then we'll switch between the two legs. Maybe I will actually turn to the side so you can see this a little better. I will be doing the version with one leg extended at a time, but certainly you can leave both of your feet planted firmly on the floor and give yourself a little more stability that way. So take a deep breath in. Check that you're sitting with alignment, that your core is engaged and supporting you. You're still leaving yourself room to breathe. We're going to bring our arms out in front of us. I'm going to extend my right leg. You can extend or not. From here, you are going to curve yourself over as if you're curving over a large ball, which I am, curving over towards your toes, so you're rounded. It's really hard to see the rounding because I can't round as far as I would like to, but you really can round through the spine. From here, you're going to shift forward into a flat back. So you're going to stretch out through your head and your tailbone at the same time, sending energy in both directions, reaching towards that toe. Curving back, curving by engaging through the abdominals. So curving isn't about dropping the shoulders, but it's about contracting through my deep core and contracting, pulls me back into a curve. And I come back up to sitting. And then we'll switch legs. So contracting in order to round, reaching long through the arms, the head, and the tailbone at the same time. Contracting deeply through the abdominals to tuck the tailbone back under, and sitting up. That's one each side. We're going to go for 10. So from here, contract, extend, contract, sit up, contract, extend, contract, and up, other foot. Contract by engaging the core. Contract, extend, pulling back to contract, tucking the tail back under, and up, and contract, extend, contract, and up. Keep going. Back, extend, and up. Next side. Contract, extend, pull it back, and up. We'll just do one more each side. Contracting through the abdominals, extending long through the head and the tail. Contract, and sitting up, other leg. Contract, extend long, contract, and sit up. And take a deep breath. We're going to go right back to that half roll down that we practiced early on in the very beginning, which is initiating from an exhale and a contraction to curve by tilting the pelvis, moving towards your tailbone in your chair, half roll down. With this, if you'd like, you can just work on the curve that comes from the contraction, or you can take a gentle lean back, but your whole torso has to lean as a unit. So if your abdominals are, you're not so sure that they're going to support you and you're feeling your lower back a little bit, do not lean. You can just work on this contraction and extension. If you want to take a little lean, make sure that it's not about sinking further, but that the whole torso pulls itself backwards. We're going to do that. Then a right thigh lift, left thigh lift, I bring it back up. So a half roll down, lift, lift, and up. This is 3, lift, lift, and up. 4, lift, lift, and up. Contract. 5, lift, lift, and up. Another thing is to make sure you're not crunching your neck down. Contract 6. So there's still space between your chin and your chest. And up. 7. Keep those abdominals scooped out, hollowed out, and up. Imagine somebody wanted to touch your belly button and you don't want them to, and you're pulling away from it. Left and up. One more. Lift, lift, and up. We're going to take a nice spinal stretch. I can't do it very well. I can't lean forward over my thighs. But as much as you are able, you're just going to release the head and let the weight of the head pull you down towards your knees, towards your toes, and lay over your thighs and simply let the arms and the head hang. I can't do this very far, but you can go as far as you are able. If you want to create a little more room for yourself by opening your knees a little wider, you certainly can. Taking a moment here to hang, really telling your arms and your shoulders that they can loosen, that your head can drop and release. If you want to shake it side to side to help it loosen out, you can. And we're slowly going to roll up one vertebrae at a time. So imagine that you're stacking one vertebrae in your spine up to the side and sitting up. Now, we are going to go back to what we just did, the idea of the half roll down and a thigh lift. From here, and you can actually grab it with your knee, or with your hands, you can grab your knee with your hands. You may either do the same exercise we just did, simply lift, lift, and put it down, or if you want to add a little extra to it, you're going to come back, you're going to bring it in, you're going to extend this leg and both of your arms out at the same time, pull it back in and down, and then we'll go straight to the other leg before we return. So, curve, in, out, in, stay contracted, in, out, in, put it down, and then we'll return. If that's too much for you, if you're not feeling that today and you want to simply go back to this half roll down with a lift and return, please do. We're going to do a set of 10. So count that out for yourself. If you're doing something modified, deep breath in, contract, pull it in, stretch, in and down, in, stretch, in and down, and bring it out. Contract, not sinking in the shoulders, contracting through the abdominals. In, extend, in and down, in, extend, in and down, and up, contract. 3. This is only our third one. Inhale, exhale, contract. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Roll it down. Keep going. Contract by engaging your abdominals. And down. And down. Sit down. Contract. In. Out. In. And down. In. Out. In. And down. For the sake of time, we're just going to do one more set. and exhale. In, out, in, down, in, out, in, down, and up. All right. Take a second, shake it out. We're going to go back to that spinal twist that we did earlier. So you're going to bring your arms forward. One arm opens to the back, looking over that shoulder, anchoring your hips and your thighs, and bringing it forward. Twist. And forward. Twist, exhale. And forward. Keeping energy going out through those fingertips. As if someone is giving you just a gentle pull to keep those arms nice and long. One more each side. And bring it down. Coming back to the front, we're going to do one more seated stretch, and then we're going to move to standing. I'm going to do a time check. What time it is? Perfect. So if you cannot do this stretch, that's okay. It is not easy for me to get my leg up towards my lap anymore either. If you cannot, I'll show you some ways to modify and still get a stretch in. The first thing you're going to do is cradle your knee and pull it in and up. You can grab that ankle and lay it across your knee. Let your leg fall open. So you're not even trying to push it open, you're just letting it relax so that it falls open as far as it naturally can. This might be enough for you. If you want to deepen that stretch, then you're going to lean forward, flat back, so not rounding over, but lean forward as if you're going to lay your chest past your leg into that stretch. And you'll feel it back here in your hip flexors and your glutes. Hold it for a few breaths. Take the time to breathe. And bringing it back up. Cradling your knee to put it back down. Other side. Bringing the knee in and up. If you want to deepen the stretch, leaning forward as if you're going to lay your chest on the floor over top of your leg. If you can't get your leg here, you can certainly try stretching here. You can also cross over at your ankle and let the thigh fall open and give it a little forward lean. It's going to change where the stretch is happening, but it's still a nice hip stretch. It's just going to happen more in the crease and less back here in the glutes. I'm going to go back to this one because this is the one I need. Take a few more breaths here. Relax. Let your leg release. And bring it back up. Cradle the knee to pull it in and up and down. We're going to move to standing. Nothing too crazy, I promise. And you always have your chair with you for support. And hopefully I stay in the frame. So the first thing we're going to do are toe heel rocks, which you can't really see my feet. But if you were standing on the floor, we're simply rocking up onto our toes and then back onto our heels. So literally rocking to toe and heel. You can use your chair for support, for sure. Take a moment standing to practice that same alignment you did sitting. Thinking about your tailbone dropping straight down towards the floor. Your shoulders are relaxed and back, and your abdominals are engaged just enough to give you a little bit of a lift, a sense of space between your thighs and your pelvis and your ribs. Standing nice and tall, holding onto the back of your chair, you're just going to rock up onto your toes and back onto your heels. Toes and heels. This is great for your calves. It's also great for balance. If balance is not your thing, this kind of helps you test it and find your middle. Your balance will be better by keeping that core still engaged, lifting up, Scooping in and up along the spine. Up and back. Up and back. A few more each way. And pause. From here, we're just simply going to take about a foot's worth, a foot length step back behind us and shift our whole pelvis forward towards the chair, which means your front knee might bend, just enough to get a little stretch both through the front of your hip and through the calf that you just worked. So it's not a deep lunge, it's just a little thing. And it's more about shifting the pelvis forward, the whole thing, than leaning over this side. And switching them out. Stepping back, shifting the whole pelvis forward, getting a good stretch through that calf. And bending the knee to return and come back. We're going to do a standing oblique and side stretch. So you, again, can use your chair. If you want to do one arm as we stretch, you can. If you're the kind of person who wants to do two arms, you feel good without the chair, then please do. I'll show both ways. I'm going to take a deep breath in and reach up. Same as when you were sitting in the chair, you're going to keep your pelvis anchored, so you don't want to see it start to shift off to the side. You're going to take a lean towards the side and up towards the other side, imagining that there's space on both sides of your ribs, and up. If you want just one hand, you're going to take the opposite arm overhead and up, and switch them out. Overhead and up. One more each side. I'm going to go back to two arms. Anchor those hips. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lean. Inhale, up. Arms down. We're going to take a flat back. So you are going to walk your feet back as far as you are comfortable going. If you can go to a full flat back, you're welcome to. And put your hands on your chair. You're just going to start walking your feet back until you feel like you're getting enough of a spine stretch. This might be enough for you. If you want to go back a little further and really go for a flat back, please do. However, you're not letting the middle of your back go. So your tailbone is not extending towards the ceiling. Your back is not sinking. We're really staying engaged through the abdominals to keep our spines flat. And you want to be very mindful that you're not shifting back past your heels. That puts a lot of strain on your hamstrings and your knees. Not great. So you're going to try to keep in a good right angle. If you want to release your head through a little, you certainly can. But again, not releasing in your back, keeping those abdominals supportive. Take another deep breath here. One more. And walking your feet back in and up. We are going to take some side lunges. So I'll put my chair in front of me just so you can see how I use it, and then I'll move it to get it out of the way. Again, standing tall, if you want to use your chair as support, you certainly can. You're going to take a step out to the side, keeping the knee and the toe facing straight ahead in front of you into a lunge. So we're not letting the knee or the leg rotate out. We're really thinking about keeping both knees and both toes facing forward. It's putting more of the work into this glute and bringing it back in. And the other side. Stepping out and in. That's one. We're going for 10. Out and in. It's up to you how deep you take these stretches. It might be that just that shifting of the weight is enough. Or you really want to challenge yourself and take them deeper, which is okay. But be mindful that you're keeping your knees forward over your toes, that your knees and your toes aren't going in different directions. And as usual, I've been talking, and I don't know what number I'm on. We're going to pretend that's 6. 7. 9. 10. And we're going to go back to that front and back lunge. This time, if you want to, if you're able, taking that step a little further back. So it's spinning back until your toe touches the ground behind you with a straight leg, then putting the heel down, shifting into a bend in that front knee. Again, thinking about the pelvis, the hip bones, moving forward along a track rather than leaning over the leg. And take 3 deep breaths here. Softening that back knee to shift yourself forward and come back up. Other side. Bending that front knee, thinking about the whole pelvis moving forward rather than the torso leaning forward. Take another deep breath. One more. Softening that back knee to shift yourself forward and up. Stepping back one more time for another flat back. This time, keeping your abdominals engaged, but if you have flexible shoulders and they need more of a stretch, letting your chest come further towards the ground without releasing your lower back. So your head may come through a little further. And walking your feet back in and up. Do one last time check. Perfect. So we can sit back down, or if you're good standing and you want to stay standing, please do. I, however, am enjoying my chair today. We're going to end with a simple stretch in 3 dimensions. So we're going to think up and down, side to side, open, close, and then the front of us and the back of us. And take some deep breaths. So we're going to take a deep breath and reach up. Catch that breath. Give yourself some tension, pushing against the palms of your hands so you actually are pressing together here actively. Inhaling, sending the thumbs back towards the wall behind you. Exhaling, wrapping around, reaching for your shoulder blades as if they were handles that you could hold on to. From here, you're welcome to drop your chin to your chest. Inhale, bring the chin back up. Exhale, arms down. Clasping the fingers, pulling the sternum, your chest, away from your hands, letting yourself round. So moving front and back. And then clasping the hands behind you or reaching for the chair behind you if your hands can't clasp. And thinking about sending your hands towards the floor and your sternum towards the ceiling. And we'll repeat the whole thing again on breath. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, send the thumbs back. Exhale, curve. Inhale, release. Exhale, arms down. Inhale, exhale, arms and chest pull away from each other. Inhale up. Exhale, clasp behind you. Inhale, sternum towards the ceiling. Exhale, release. One more time. And up. Pull the hands down, press. Send the thumbs back. Exhale, wrap. Inhale, sit up. Exhale, pull the hands and the sternum away. Inhale, up. Exhale, clasp behind. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And take just a moment to come back to sitting in neutral. Hopefully you feel that your core, your abdomen, your hips, your glutes have done some work and you can feel them. Feel that they are starting to engage and support your spine. And using that sense of support and work, letting everything else, including your shoulders and your jaw and your face and your neck and your hip flexors and your knees, everything else gets to relax around the support of your abdomen. And take 3 last deep breaths. So take a deep breath in. Exhale. 2. Last breath. Exhale. Thanks, guys. Hopefully you got to join. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully I made sense. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.